everybody? I am your host, the Dharma Guy, and as always, we're talking to you through Dharma Time here on WPSN99.com. How you doing today? Welcome home. Let me introduce the Dope Doctor. Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. As everybody can tell, we're still under quarantine. You are in Studio de Delgado, and I am in a Casa de Phillips here. Obviously, as you can see behind me, I'm still in my daughter's room. And no, I have not corrected that paint job yet, right there.
Why
I'm
not?
still not going to. No.
Why?
Because I don't really care as much as you do, actually. I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Well, you don't have to look at it. I have to look at it.
Well,
When I
I can
talk
see
to
it
you,
here,
I
but,
have to look
technically I'm doing my best to stare at the green light as opposed to the faces in front of me. So
at it.
all I really see is a green little dot staring back at me.
Right on.
But anyways, real quickly, let's get the announcements out of the way. As always, this is Dharma Time here on WPSN99.com. I am the host, the Dharma Guy, that is the Dope Doctor. And as you can see behind him, the Now Matters More Foundation, we help individuals who are struggling with the disease of addiction. So if you or anybody you know needs to find a place, needs help, whatever it may be, you can call 833 Now Matters. That's 833 Now Matters. Or you can go to nowmatters.org. You can donate money there. You can see what we're about. You can fill out applications. What?
You said nowmatters.org.
Nowmattersmore.org. I was
Yeah.
speaking really fast.
Yeah, you did.
I guess I'm just so used to saying it, I'm just blasting through it. But
Much like you played Destiny.
yes, full disclosure, which I do believe we're going to leave some time at the end after, I think, to chit chat about your introduction there to Dharma. Dharma, he wants me to fix the fan. Bro, I have tried. Now, okay, hold up. Now, since we're going to bring that up, I was waiting for somebody to mention it. I have tried my damnedest to fix this stupid fan. I'm going to have to replace it with a whole new one. That's what I had to do in my son's room. I've tried everything to fix this stupid fan. It just, there's nothing, it's not going to work. They keep,
That's a wobble.
well, they keep breaking the actual casing for the light bulb because they play and they do stupid things. But it wobbles like insanely, and I've tried everything to I've done everything I can think of, but it's they've destroyed it. And
Wobble, 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 wobble,
yeah,
wobble.
yeah, I know.
Damn.
So once the coronavirus little quarantine goes away, and we're able to freely move about the country, I
Yeah.
will probably go to Home Depot and grab myself another fan and install it because it's ridiculous.
You could actually go to Home Depot now. They just close at 6 p.m. instead of later.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do the responsible thing and not go out unless it's an absolute necessity. And since this has been this way for years, I'm pretty sure we're good. So speaking on that, well, first of all, let's get the other stuff out the way real quick. Social media, for those of you who are not watching on Facebook Live at the moment, feel free to follow us on social media. That's at the Dharma Guy, at the Dope Doctor, and of course at WPSN and at Now Matters More. And then you want to watch these old shows, you can go to youtube.com/Dharma Time and you can watch all of our old shows, most of which are in the studio, and then share with your friends, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really does help us out. Thank you very much. All right, so
Yeah.
yeah, today's show, man. We were on the phone earlier. Well, actually, technically, we were in a party chat playing Destiny earlier, and
You finally got me to do it, everybody.
that's right. And we were talking about what the show today would be about, and I don't know, man. We were struggling a little bit, right? Because we were trying to think to ourselves, we feel like covering the coronavirus and quarantine stuff is beginning to be a bit redundant. However, everybody's kind of still dealing with it, so it still is in the forefront of
Kind of.
everybody's mind. Yeah.
Kind of
I got to be
still.
honest though, man. Like from my own personal stance, and I know we're gonna get into our actual topic here in a couple minutes, but on a side note,
Mhm.
yeah, I gotta admit, man, I'm kind of getting coronavirus fatigue. I still very much respect it, and I understand that there's people dying. I mean, the numbers are outrageous now. I mean, they're up to 500 something a day are dying. But I literally could take a copy of like the last 4 days of the news coverage that I wake up to and put it on any other day, and you wouldn't tell the difference. It's literally, oh no, it's getting bad, stay at home, and then they bring on some expert to talk about flattening the curve and the the hospital workers don't have enough masks and just it's literally the same conversation every day. Now I understand the need to cover it. I get it. But yeah, it's like I've got coronavirus fatigue, man. Like I really don't want to hear any more about it. Like The next thing I personally want to hear is like, okay, we're good. Numbers are declining. Let's start coming out of our caves. Because I don't know what telling me for the 12th day in a row that flatten the curve and stay at home is going to do that it didn't do 12 days ago.
Well, clearly it's not keeping people home.
No,
So
no, it's
they got
not. Well, no, it's not. Like,
Montana just got their first case, right?
well,
Or not first case, but like Montana just got their first death, I
I
think,
didn't
or
know
something
that.
like. Yeah, it hit Montana now, so that's your home.
Yeah, man. Well, they already do social distancing, man. Like neighbors are miles away for the most part, depending on where
Well,
you're at, I
apparently
guess.
somebody traveled.
Yeah. And we had to go out, occasionally to get different supplies and stuff that we've used. Funny story, first day doing the coronavirus stuff, I told you, for those of you who watched before, my daughter's friend got pseudo kicked out of her house right on day one of the quarantine. And we didn't want her to be out on the streets or anything, so we offered for her to come into the house for, till we could figure out some sort of a long-term solution. And so my daughter decides to take that moment to make grilled cheese for everybody. Used an entire half a loaf of bread in like 20 minutes. So yes, we've had to go back out and re-up some of our supplies. And in doing so, traffic seems a little bit lighter while I'm driving. But when I get to the destination, aka the grocery store or whatever, it feels like the same. It doesn't feel empty.
Really?
Yeah, it felt like there's pretty much the same amount of people. I mean, obviously I've seen moments where it's busier, but I don't think I've seen moments where it's less. I mean, it's kind of, it's not dead, but it's not super busy.
Right.
If you were to walk, if I were to take a video camera and just walk around like the Walmart grocery store, you wouldn't know that there's a quarantine. Is what I'm saying. Like, there's plenty of people there.
That's what we should do. We should interview people like, well, what are you doing
Yeah, why
out?
are you here? So yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily working to keep people strictly at home. I will
Yeah.
say that it is working in the sense of like I myself am trying to not take any unnecessary trips still.
Yeah.
I know that our part of our topic is just the 3 weeks in, like how everybody's dealing. So I do know that
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who have cabin fever. I know a lot of people are just wanting to get out of the house. I know a lot of people are having issues dealing with spouses or children or whatever, just kind of in a confined space with nowhere to go, no outlets. Some people are we part of what we're going to talk about today is just where are you at? Like
Right. Right.
some people are doing fantastic. Some people feel like they're cabin fever. Some people are stressed out. You got people like myself and apparently you as well. Like I feel kind of guilty if I'm honest with you,
Right.
because I'm doing fine. Like I'm actually kind of good, man. Like
Because we actually like the people we live with,
yeah,
and we,
Well, full disclosure, also too. I just realized this. Some people watched us on Friday on the couch, but not everybody watches both shows, I guess. So, for those of
yeah.
you who tune in just at Dharma Time, last time we were on air, my wife was waiting for her test to come back for the coronavirus.
Right.
She works for the VA, so she is exposed to pretty much everything you can think of at a hospital, and
Mm.
they were not allowing individuals who worked there to come in if they had fevers. They were sending them home and telling them to get tested. She had a fever unrelated to coronavirus. It was she gets migraines and things of that nature, and sometimes her body responds with a fever. So she had a slight fever. They told her not to come in. It was a fiasco trying to get her tested. It was a big pain in the butt. We were able to finally get her tested. Had to wait almost 10 days for a result, and we finally got the results in last week. She's negative for it. So our severe lockdown has been lifted here at this house,
Yeah.
in the sense of like we weren't going near my mom or anything. Like we were really trying to avoid as much as we could.
Right.
But now that that's negative, we loosened the reins up a little bit. Like I've had to go to my mom's house to help her with something, and just things of that nature.
Right.
So full disclosure for everybody's out there, my wife is fine. She tested negative for it, so we're all as well in the Phillips household. But yeah, man. So
How's,
go ahead.
how's your mom?
She's doing well, man. Yeah, she's doing really well actually. She's kind of her life hasn't changed much. She was a bit of a hermit before this, so for her it's kind of just hanging out.
Well, yeah, but she hasn't been able to spend time with the kids, right?
Well, there's been a lot of FaceTime happening.
Oh, okay, good. Good.
Yeah, and then she's got like some neighbors that she lives around that are advanced age as well, and so they've worked out little deals with them. Like whenever one goes to the store, they pick up some for the other one, and vice versa. So that way they're not all going out every day. They got a cool little system worked out for them, so
Right
it's
on.
cool.
My parents are doing delivery, so
Really?
yeah, Publix delivers.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant your parents were doing deliveries. I mean, they were going out delivering. I'm like, really? Wow.
No, those days are over.
Yeah, right.
No, it's no, they just I guess contact Publix and get it delivered to their house. It's real cool,
That's awesome.
smart actually.
But yeah, so kind of bringing to our point there. The I don't know. I do feel kind of guilty, because
Yeah,
I'm okay with this with quarantine. To be honest with you, for the most part, my life hasn't changed much. I wasn't a person that went out to like bars and clubs. I didn't go out to a ton of events every day. Like I went out to the events that I'm expected to go to. Things for the foundation or what have you. But on a normal like Friday night, my butt was at home watching Netflix or whatever. Like I was at home with my family. So in that sense, not a whole lot has changed in my life. And as far as my day to day is concerned, I love my wife. I like my kids. Like I'm okay, man. Like I'm not going stir crazy. I'm a homebody anyways. I've had plenty of shows on my Netflix queue that I've been able to catch up with. As you can see, Destiny. We'll after our show's over, after we play the outro, we're gonna hang out for a little bit and kind of just talk nonsense. So if you guys want
right
to
on.
stick around for that, by all means. But part of what we'll talk about is I finally introduced him to Destiny as a video game, and as you can tell, that can kill some time pretty quickly for you.
Yeah,
So I've had plenty of time to do stuff, man. So I feel bad, I really do, for the individuals who are really struggling right now. The ones that are out there feeling lonely, or the ones that are feeling depressed. I
right.
know people in my little circle here that are having marital issues right now. Arguments back and forth, domestic issues, and I feel bad for those people. I really
Yeah,
do. I sincerely hope for them this is a catalyst to help them figure out solutions to those moving forward. But sadly,
right.
it seems like some of them, it's going to be the catalyst to ending certain things, and I feel bad for that. So I guess that's what we're talking about today, right? Was just kind of
Yeah.
a self-evaluation. Like, where are you at in the thing? We talked about there's a multiple different cases here, right? You have the people like ourselves that are kind of good with everything, like this isn't exactly what I would choose per se, but I've adapted to it pretty well and I'm doing all right. Then you have the people who feel like it's a prison, who are just like really miserable and not liking life. Then you have
Right.
the people that are stir crazy and kind of just that they need to get out, or they're depressed or whatever. So kind of just, where is everybody at? Like your circle of friends, the people you've spoken to, where are they at?
Well, I think it's different depending on what state you're at. Obviously, like Marissa just put a comment there. So for her, she's in New York, and so for people up in New York, it's a lot different. They're more locked down than we are. Their grocery stores may not be delivering. I mean,
Right.
she's in a wheelchair, and
Right.
so when you have elderly people and people that are unable to have that freedom of movement as easy as someone else, they require maybe a little bit more assistance
Yeah.
to get some goods to them. So this system probably isn't working well for them. Whereas in other people, like here where I'm at, specifically here at New Smyrna Beach, there's so many people
Right.
out there, man.
Yeah.
I go out there and I can't believe how many people are still out there
Yeah.
because. Look, as much as they said the beaches are closed or whatever like that, look, the sunshine and it's easy to get away from people. Like we did kayaking the other day. It's
Right.
real easy to stay away from people kayaking.
Sure. Yeah.
So, so if anybody had an issue or took issue with us kayaking, we're still quarantined. It's just our family.
Right.
We already are going to see each other. We're still hanging out together. But we as a group went and we kayaked, and then we don't have to be around any other people.
And you own the
So
kayaks too, so you didn't even have to like deal
own
with
the
somebody to rent them. Like you didn't even have that face
Right.
to face. So
And we dropped them in at Calalisi Park, Calalisa Park, where there's nobody there.
Right.
So it's easy to drop in the kayak somewhere where you can even distance there. So I think what's important, Trinity, is that people still maybe walk around or get outside a little bit, get some of that sunshine. Dana has told me from the beginning of our relationship that sunshine gives you nutrients,
yeah,
right?
vitamin
What's
D.
that vitamin?
Vitamin D.
D. Yeah, that's just she's trying to be sweet and quiet, but vitamin D. And I always just get heckled her and like whatever. I don't need vitamin D.
It's
Whatever.
true though.
But it's actually true. So luckily, we're at a place where we're able to do that. Still go outside and get some of that. Now, people in apartments, not as easy.
Yeah.
People that have to engage with other people in order to get outside of their house, not so easy.
Right.
So those are I'm feeling for. I think you and I, we own our own houses. We're in neighborhoods where we actually have a front yard and a backyard
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think Trinity for us, it's a little bit different than for so many people out there that are in a little bit more difficult situations, being in condos and apartments and things like that.
Well, the other thing I think too, and I briefly touched on this earlier, but something that I think personally that is helping, at
Right.
least my case, and probably yours a little bit because you mentioned it earlier, is I'm not watching. I'm not just sitting here all day long watching like the news channel, right? Like, my life
Right.
does not revolve around the coronavirus at the moment, right? Like,
Right.
it really is a very small part of my day to day activity. Now, the consequences or my current circumstances are 100% coronavirus, yes. But throughout my day, it really only takes a very. To be honest with you, the only time that I pay attention to the coronavirus and where we're at is it was right when I wake up in the morning,
Right.
as I'm having my breakfast. I'll turn on the news to kind of figure out if anything new or anything major has changed, where we're currently at, what the projected day to day is, and that's it. After that, I start watching my queue. I get on the PlayStation or I hang out with the kids or I do stuff around the house. But
Right.
it's no longer a part of my day, and I think that helps because I think that
Yeah.
if you immerse yourself in this, then you can start to panic potentially,
Mm.
but more importantly, when that's all you see, you think that that's all there is, and so you can really start to think, oh my gosh, this is so, and it's really not. It is a very small part of our lives right now, because for a lot of us, really all it's doing is making us not be able to leave the house. Like,
All
you're
right.
able to still communicate. You're still able to FaceTime. If you have friends and family that live with you, you're still able to do all that stuff. We're actually able still to go out to get groceries for a lot of us. So really, the only thing that changed is you can't party your club or something like that. You're not going to any major social gatherings. That guy got arrested. I think the priest that had service on Sunday. There's a warrant out for his arrest at the moment. So it changed your day to day major gatherings. But other than that, I've been able to find other things to do to occupy my time that I'm not just
Right.
so immersed. And so I think that really did help with my sense of well being, if you will, that I'm not so inundated with stuff.
Well, and I think that's healthy, like you said, that's healthy. I think it's good to do a check in the morning, and it's good to check in at night, and
Yeah.
maybe throughout the day, at some point during the day, do a little check in. But I mean, news was already not news anyway, right?
Exactly.
Before this, it was just you had the anti-Trump channels, and then you had the Trump channel,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so you had these two, and that's all we were inundated with anyway, right?
Right.
We right now, if we weren't having this situation, it'd just all be election stuff, and so it was just a lot of negativity anyway. So hopefully, this gives us an opportunity to kind of turn that off a little bit, do some self care. But this is a great time to move around a little bit
Yeah.
and do stuff that all the honeydews that I hate to do.
I got plenty of those.
Well, yeah, I see the one behind your head. The two honeydews.
Well,
We're gonna honeydew you until you do
that
one.
actually isn't a honeydew. That's a Louis dew right there. Because my honey
Hell no,
doesn't
that
care
ain't
about
Louis
those at the moment.
that ain't a
On a
Louis.
side note, real quick, let me put some of these comments up here because we have some people commenting on here. You have Andrew Mai saying people are still going to the beach.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great comment! I'm gonna put this one on the screen there. He says Dharma Guy is a great role model to follow. Thank you very much for that. Check is in the mail for that one, baby. And then Marissa says, here, let me put this on the screen as well. She says, I know a lot of people here getting in their head and freaking out about how bad it is. So important to be present in real life and breathe, just not on someone
That's it.
else.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Well, that's it. It's a forced timeout. It's a forced
Yeah,
timeout. It's an
yeah,
opportunity, like we've mentioned on previous shows, to just take a time out from everything that you had to do. This cleared my calendar, so I had a lot
yeah,
of things
man.
that I always had to go to.
Yeah,
So I had to go here on Monday, had to go over there on Tuesday, had to drive over there on Wednesday. It cleared the calendar,
right.
so it's very weird that the day feels like it goes faster now
Yeah,
than it did then. I don't get it. I don't know how I'm going to go back to being as busy as I was, and
right.
I feel like the day flies by now.
It does, man. Yeah, it really does. I don't know, man. Like I said, I do feel somewhat guilty though because I'm having such a good time when I see other
Yeah.
people struggling so much, man.
Yeah.
But I do believe that we talked on previous shows that we have to start to get used to some of this, because I do believe some of the changes that we're seeing are going to stick around for a little while. In full
Yeah.
disclosure, though, like on a side note, I had my moment, right? Like with the first few days of the quarantine, for me it was a stressful time for myself, because we have the normal stresses of day to day life. I have 3 kids in the house, 2 of which are 10 or below, and they were starting a brand new, the distance learning is what they're calling it. It's all online, and the teachers were ill prepared. We were ill prepared. The kids, nobody was prepared for it. It was kind of very confusing and frustrating for a lot of us. And then, so me dealing with that, the day to day, just normal stresses that come, in my life personally.
Yep.
And then, like I said, we had. I'm also trying to now care for somebody else's kid who's potentially being kicked out during the middle of the thing. I got my wife who's at home. We're waiting for a test to see if it's positive or negative for the virus that's killing people. Like, so there's a tremendous amount of stuff in a very short window of time for me. It's like 2 days, I think, and all this stuff was happening. And so I had my little moment where I told everybody, "All right, you need to back off for a minute." Like,
Yeah.
I've my cuppeth runneth over, basically. And so I had my moment, and I blew my top just a little bit, and I explained to everybody what
Yeah.
was going on, and we all were able to kind of back off for a minute, and then ever since that point, man, I've been flying high. Like, for them, they
Yeah.
understood that they needed to kind of stop putting as much pressure on me at the moment, and kind of fend for themselves a little bit, and then for me, I learned, like, okay, here's an area I need to grow at the moment. Like, for the first time, I was inundated with a lot more stress than normal. And so I had to take a step back and say, hold up, this is not their fault. This is, we need to deal with this, and I'm not handling it skillfully. And
Right.
so I took a moment back and kind of and dealt with it. And I think for me personally, that goes into why I'm doing okay now, because I addressed my unskillfulness
Yeah.
early, corrected it, and I moved on. And I think if you're not willing to do that, then this is going to be a very difficult time for you. Like, if you're going to continue to blame others or continue to point the finger and think it's everybody else that needs to change and it's all them, then I can see how this would be a very difficult time for you. And I think from a spiritual perspective, there's no growth that happens when you're blaming everybody else.
No.
Not to say everybody's perfect, but you're not responsible for other people's decisions and behavior. You're responsible for your own responses
Right.
to that. So not to say
Right.
that my kids instantly, got better at the homeschooling stuff, or everybody else in my house got instantly better in community. No, it just, I learned how to, like, okay, let me adjust my perspective, let me adjust my expectations, and so I think that goes along well in helping. Oh, your mom came on. Hi, Martha. And
Hey, Madre. How you doing?
Lori says that they're on lockdown as well. Lori said that they're only letting one person per family go food shopping there in Connecticut. Wow.
Mm.
One person per family. How do they even find that out? Like, it's interesting.
Well, like, how do you vote? Like,
Yeah.
and then you spray them down when they come in.
Well, I was
When
at
they,
Walmart the other day, man, and like they had a pallet of toilet paper, and they were like having people line up. They were only giving one per like. Anybody out there, please put a comment if you really understand the what the catalyst for the toilet paper issue was. I've asked
wasn't it made
everybody,
in China?
huh?
It's made in China. That's why, wasn't it?
No, there's a bunch of it here made in America.
Oh, so it's just BS,
I
probably.
don't know why that people the toilet paper thing just doesn't make sense. I don't understand that, but
I don't know that, but I know that my mom's birthday's tomorrow.
feliz cumpleaños. Very
Yeah,
cool.
feliz cumpleaños. Very
That's
good.
right, man. Se habla español un poquito.
Yep.
Yeah, Marissa agrees with me. She says she still doesn't get the toilet paper, mainly
Yeah.
because it's an upper respiratory thing. So I don't understand this mass need for toilet paper all of a sudden. But regardless,
Well, I mean, hopefully everybody's been wiping the whole time. I mean,
exactly.
hopefully it's not like hand washing where there's
Oh,
a lot of people
horrible.
that just weren't wiping and
Yeah,
they weren't washing their hands.
that's
This is
horrible.
like a
I've
thing.
seen, as a man though, I've been in the restroom with many other men who, after they're done doing their business, just walk out the door. It's like, wow, okay, that's gross.
Yes, yes,
Duly noted. I am
yeah.
not going to shake your hand, bruh.
And if you're that guy, that's still nasty. That was nasty then. It's
Yes,
nasty now.
exactly. And well, before it was just nasty. Now it's nasty and unsafe.
Yeah, there was a Frank told me a good joke about that when we were at TPC. He goes, so someone made a mention to a guy. He goes, hey man, didn't your mom ever teach you to wash your hands after you go to the bathroom? He goes, no, my mom taught me not to piss on my hands.
Yeah, but I get what he's saying. Like, I get the premise. Having said that, There's more down there than just urine. Like you just, you were just touching your piece there, bro. Like I'm not interested in touching that afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. You should
Um,
always. I
but
mean, but with anything, right? I mean, listen. All right. So we talked about the future norms. Here's one of the future norms that I'm really happy is going to exist. Hopefully, you all keep the habits when this is all over that you wash your hands when you come into the house. When you come back home, you wash your hands. Maybe even, maybe even take off the clothes that you had outside and have fresh clothes just for the house. I like doing that anyway. To be honest, I disrobe as soon
oh,
as
yeah.
I walk in
Oh,
the
I've
house
got
anyway.
house clothes,
Yeah, exactly. And then
which is an age
yep.
thing, I think, because I didn't have house clothes when I was a kid.
No, I didn't
Like now
care.
as an adult, man, I've got clothes that I'm out, and the first thing I do, like you, when I walk in the door, the first thing I do, I got like a comfortable pair of like gym shorts or whatever. Like
Yeah,
that's
dude.
it.
Yeah, dude. The only thing I dreaded about my kids getting above age 5 or 6 or whatever like that is I had to start wearing clothes in the house. No, because I'd be in my boxers as soon as they, back then it was
Right.
boxers. Oh, now it'd be boxer briefs. But I was gone. You got
Sure.
the visual? Got the visual?
I don't want it, but yeah.
TMI. Yeah. So it's. What did she say? Lori left us for another show. Is that true? Is
She said
that what she
no. She
said?
said we have another great show.
Oh, I thought she says
Right?
I gotta
You
go
cheating on us,
watch.
Lori? What's up with that, man? But anyways, yeah, I think I don't know, man. I just I really genuinely feel for people, and I seriously hope that they're able to sustain or to survive this. I should say, and I don't mean necessarily physically, because hopefully, I obviously hope that. I just mean
Right.
mentally, man. I hope this doesn't break people down, or I hope there's no permanent solutions or decisions made for this very temporary issue. I know
Well,
for a fact that there's people very close to me that it looks like this is the straw that broke the camel's back as far as like marital discord, and that,
right.
that always I hate to hear that. But I
Well,
know
let's talk
I'd be
a little bit
remiss
about
if I
it.
didn't say it's happening. There's a lot of relationships right now I think that are struggling.
Well, let's talk to them for a
Yeah,
second because and we said this on a previous show, but it's worth repeating. Do not make major decisions about your relationship right now while we're in this. Distance within the home that you're at,
yeah,
if you can. Or if one of you can go stay somewhere else, that's fine, if
right.
that's what you need to do. But do not make a major decision when you're going through such a chaotic situation
Yeah.
like what we're experiencing right now. Look, for recovery, we talk about it all the time. People going through mental health issues, people going through recovery, we talk about that stuff. But now we're saying it to everybody. Nobody should make a major life
No,
decision when you're in emotional turmoil.
because you're not thinking right. You know what I mean? Like who you are on a day to day basis is fundamentally changed during these moments, man. Like you're stressed out, you're anxious potentially. You're
Right.
worried about different things. You might even be going through some depression if you're not getting out and doing stuff. So
Well, what's the number one contributor to arguments in a home? It's money, right?
yeah.
Well,
And right now,
well,
money is hurting for a lot of people.
yeah. As much as the media tries to convince us all that all we should be focused on is life, no, brother. Let me guarantee. There's nobody that I've spoken to that the only thing they're worried about is life. A matter of fact, most people I speak to are pretty sure they're going to live through this,
Yeah.
even though they're trying to tell us on the media that 80,000 more of us are going to die before this is all over, just in the United States alone.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're thinking about. Maybe we're thinking about that for our parents and stuff like that, and that's why we're staying away from our parents and we're making sure that they're safe.
Right.
But most people seem to be focused and worried about their money.
Yeah.
So we need to support the businesses that we can, so that when this is all over, not everybody's on
Agreed.
government assistance.
Yeah.
We need it. So if you can order out where you live and have food delivered to you at least once or twice a week, do that if you're able to do that. If you're not able to do that, I understand. But if you're able to help any of the local businesses stay open while this is going on, please do that.
Yeah. No, I agree
Just keep
100%.
Amazon working.
Yeah. Exactly.
For some reason, at least in my household, I mean, I know that they've been looking online a lot more. Like my daughter is still remodeling her room, getting her room all the way she wants it. And it's like, take ease
Her
up there,
palace
Sparky.
that she's got down
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ease up there.
Right.
Try to support local businesses in your neighborhood instead of the
Right.
Amazon businesses that are out there or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
don't. I
That'll
don't disagree with that at all. But to go back to what you were saying about making major decisions, I definitely, well, first and foremost, anybody who's watching this at the moment, if you're watching it live, drop a comment down there or message us privately. If there's a specific topic or something you think we should address on the show,
Yeah.
over the coming days, coming weeks, or if you want us to elaborate on anything we've already discussed, something you think needs repeating.
Yeah.
But to address that, I really do think that, I would be remiss if we didn't focus some time on relationships right now. We've done some relationship shows in the past,
Right.
but I think this is a very new, intense issue for a lot of people. I think that a lot of people who thought that their relationships were great are being very much tested at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that it's easy to confuse the current testing with a relationship status. And what I mean by
Right.
that is, if you're being tested, if you're going through something right now, that doesn't mean your relationship was unhealthy. That just means
Yeah.
there's extenuating circumstances right now that everybody was ill prepared to handle. And so don't
Hmm.
take this as a sign that your relationship was already trash or something like that. No, your relationship could have been absolutely great and awesome, but right now you're going through some unprecedented things right now. Because I know I'm almost 40 now, and I've never ever heard of or been through this kind of a quarantine in my life.
Right.
I've seen plenty of like other viruses and diseases come and go. The SARS and H1N1 and stuff. Never have we been quarantined. Never have I had to have my kids like stay home from school for a month or so. Like this is pretty extreme for a lot of people, and so I think it's dangerous to look inward to your relationship and thinking that any discord that you're having is a sign of a lack of health. Now,
Yeah.
if it was already somewhat not healthy, if you will, in other words, if there was work that needed to be done, then yes, the current situation is going to exacerbate that and make it look a lot worse than it currently is.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean the relationship itself was bad. That just means that you needed to work on some things, and you're having a hard time dealing with stress skillfully at the moment. And I think that's what we mean by don't make any permanent decisions right now, because this is not normal. This isn't your day to day life, and this isn't going to last forever. It's going to go away at some point. Maybe not tomorrow, but over the coming weeks to a month or so, we're all going to start to kind of relinquish some of these quarantines that we're under, and life is going to start to come back to what our old normal was. And so it's very possible some of the issues that you were having might go away as well, because they weren't really issues. They were just people kind of on edge and moody, as Louis likes to call it.
Yeah.
Everybody's moody right now,
Everybody.
and it's understandable. If you're moody, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world. What is bad is if you don't recognize that you're moody.
And not only just yourself, but let other people be moody.
Yeah,
It's
man,
all right.
it's okay.
Dana's gotten moody. Zoe's gotten moody. I've been moody. We're letting each other get moody.
Yeah, man.
Because whatever. Look, during a day, typically you're doing other stuff.
Yep.
You have all these other distractions that you always talk about,
Yep.
right? But right now there's very little distraction. So bring it back to basics.
Yep.
Like we talked about. Do the board games. Have you done the board games yet? Have you played any board
Not at
games?
my house, no.
We played Monopoly the other day. I won. And then walk walk around like walks.
Yeah.
Ride your bike. You have a bicycle. We're lucky enough to have kayaks right here. You know what I mean? So we could do that. But you got to find out those little things that you can do just to break some of the monotony. Some of you just don't know what to talk about anymore. Is the thing you
Yeah.
sit there and you look at each other and you probably go.
Well, if it's not
But we've seen you at restaurants.
well, if it's not agenda
because some of
based,
you are at restaurants.
I know there's a lot
I've
of people
seen
get
people like
into agenda based stuff. Like it's basically their only talking, their only dialogue is what's for dinner, who's picking up the kids, like agenda type stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's just showing you that you've gotten away from the basics of what is important.
Yeah.
And what's important is, how is your partner feeling?
Yeah.
Is she anxious? Is she sad? Is she depressed? Is she afraid? Or what about you? If you're the guy, at least for me, I have the finances always in my head.
Right.
So for me, I'm just thinking, all right, I'm starting to think like a squirrel. All right,
Yeah.
what do I save? Where do I stock it away? Or what do I need to do? What is good spending? What is not good spending? Because that's my role in this household. So whatever your role in your household is, just do it.
Yeah.
This doesn't change the role that you have in your household, but if it's causing you some strain or some stress, the coping strategy is to discuss and talk about it and open up about it. don't when someone says, "Hey, I want to buy something," don't freak out about it because they
Right.
may not know how frustrated
Right.
you are or how scared you are. I simply had that conversation. I just said, "Listen, everybody, um, every purchase, let's just be a little bit more cautious and talk about it because we don't know how long this is going to last, and not just how long this part is going to last, but we don't know how long the recovery is going to last either. So
Yeah.
we just got be a little bit more mindful of some of our decisions. There before, you never had to worry about it, you didn't think about it. Now you should think about it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing in there, which were all, those were all fantastic points, and I think another one to add to that is personal space.
Yeah,
We do need some alone time even still, and I know it's harder because we're all in a confined space. But like my wife likes to do crafts, and so when I see her go to her little craft area,
yep,
she doesn't necessarily say it, but I take that as a sign of, all right, she wants some alone time. Like I'm not gonna try to make small talk with her right now. I'm gonna just let her do her thing, and I'm gonna mind my business for a little bit. If it's important,
yeah,
she'll reach out, and I
yeah,
don't take that as, oh, she's ignoring. No, she just needs a couple minutes to just be immersed in something that isn't stressful
exactly.
or isn't us. And I
Yeah,
think that alone time is okay. We all still need
yeah,
that. I it's easy it's easier for me to get alone time in my house when it's just my 15-year-old daughter and my wife because they ignore me anyway, so we're good. But when my little ones are in here, because I have shared custody with my ex, so when my little ones are here, it's a lot harder to get that alone time because it's every 2 seconds, daddy this, daddy that, daddy this. So for me, the only way I can get alone time is to step outside, right? Like I'll go in the backyard and
yeah,
kind of shut the
yeah,
door, and my wife knows that when that happens, okay, just give them a few minutes. And it's not that I'm pouting, but I do meditate, and so I need a couple minutes to
yep,
just like,
yep,
all right, let me refocus, let me recenter, let me process what's going on, so I don't react. I'd rather respond. And
right.
then when I come back in the house, I'm calm and I can able to address everybody's little questions or comments and stuff. But you got to have some alone time too, and don't take that personal if your spouse is wanting
Right.
some alone time. It's not about
No,
you. It's about them. Give them what they need to be healthy at the moment, or it will become about you. And I
yeah,
think that's important. Some as Andrew said, some boundaries.
yep,
Those are
yep,
healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. I see Cindy's on the line here. Cindy
yeah,
Rivera from NASCAR.
yeah,
She said, "Let's remember to hide who already live alone. Give them a call so they can have interaction." Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. With reaching out with your
right.
loved ones who live alone, checking in on them and seeing how they're doing. And Cindy,
Yeah.
we need to talk to you anyway, Cindy, about some Celsius here, girl.
Yeah, just like typically maybe you're not a phone person. Like I'm not a real phone person,
Right,
to be honest with you. If I'm speaking on the phone, it's typically because someone's reaching out for help,
right.
and I'm not a small talker. But maybe throw some FaceTime conversations out,
Yeah,
to family or to loved ones or to somebody. Just check in. You may not usually like to be on the phone, but maybe right now somebody may need to hear from you.
right.
Right before going on the air, one of our old neighbors. Well, when I say old, I don't mean like age old, but he just he happens to be age old as well. But one of our ex neighbors, just reached out. You could tell he just wanted to talk, man. He just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to connect with somebody because he's sitting in his condo on the beach and just wanted to reach out. And
Nice.
it's like I get it, man. He's just he's used to interacting with people. He's used to getting in that car and driving
Right.
around. He's used to traveling, and right now he's not traveling. Like my mom's probably going stir crazy, bro. My
Yeah.
mom travels all the time. I think she canceled 3 trips. I think China trip, Greece trip, and a Mexico trip,
Wow.
all within the next 3 or 4 months, and those all got canceled. So she must be going stir crazy. So what did she do? She bought a bigger TV. She set up another room for her TV, so my dad can watch TV in one place, she can watch TV in another.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah, I think that's important. Is
I mean,
understanding everybody's going to handle this in their own way, and there
yeah,
is no right way. You know what I mean? Like your way isn't the right way. Your way is a way, and I think that's where you kind of get in trouble is to expect everybody to follow your path.
hmm,
And you got to expect or accept that. Like for instance, you and I were on Destiny earlier today. That's
yeah,
that's like partially my way. Like
yeah,
my wife and I watch a lot of stuff together on Netflix. So when she's preoccupied or sleeping or at work or what have you, I try not to watch the things that I know she would enjoy with me. So I got
yeah,
to find something else to do. And mine is I'll just hop on and kill some things on a video game and kind of hang out.
yeah,
But if you don't do that, okay, like it's not a bad thing. Like I'm no greater or less than because I do that, and she
right,
likes to do crafts, which I can't stand. That doesn't mean that her way is inferior. It's just we all have our own way, and we have to appreciate that and respect that about one another.
Right.
Find what way works for you and deal with it.
Right.
But yeah, like my mother actually had to cancel her trip to Ireland.
No,
Right,
she was like almost on the plane too.
that was like 2 days I think before she was leaving, and it wasn't even we weren't even under. And it's a good thing she did actually because at the time was when the travel ban thing was first being released, and they were
Right.
saying that it was fine. But reason why she didn't go because she was asking me my opinion, and I said, look, I think at the moment everything's fine, but this thing is changing day to day. So you might find
Yeah.
out that you get over there and everything's fine, but you can't come back. And sure
Right.
enough, a lot of the stuff that's being locked down is it would have potentially prohibited her from coming back.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that they did cancel it. But yeah, dude, she was looking forward to that. She was excited to go and with her daughter and hanging out in Ireland and seeing some new sights. And so yeah, I think a lot of people
Yeah.
are absolutely have to change plans and adjust to this. And I think those adjustments are going to cause some people to respond well. I think
Yeah.
like for instance, you and I, we seem to do well with adjustments and changes. Like we kind of just keep the show going, man. One monkey don't stop the show. And so whatever happens, we're just like, okay. Like for instance,
Yeah.
we couldn't go to the studio, so we're like, literally, you called me and we talked about it. We had about an
Yeah.
hour's notice, and within an hour and a
Yep.
half, we're up live doing this. And so we just adjust and moved on. But then there's going to be other people who don't adjust well to
That's right.
changing plans, who
Right.
are going to get stressed out, and who are going to get depressed, or who are going to get anxious, or what have you. And I think it's important to have patience with them and understand that that's just where they're at on the journey, and you got to love them where they're at. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, it's a testament, it's a testament to where you're at in your life, right? Because there was a time where that internal anxiety that I naturally have used to just rule my head so much.
Right.
So all of this is just proven to me, and it made me feel really proud of myself actually to where I'm at, because it's like,
Sure.
wow, man, I really worked on that anxiety a great deal for one thing, but it actually resolved so much other issues because now I can just get relaxed a lot. And people find it really hard to believe that I'm ever, I guess, frustrated about anything, really. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
weird how many people go like, everything rolls off your back. Well, yeah, because I worked hard for this. Because everything used to bother me. Everything was perfect. Now it's like, whatever.
Hear my dogs fighting in the background.
I hear the dog messing with you. First it was certain drugs that made me learn the word "eff it,"
Right.
and then I learned how to extend it into this life. So,
Right.
so it's perfect. Take
Yeah.
care of your responsibilities, but if you can't handle it, if it's absolutely out of your control, then what the hell are you so worried about? And this has forced us to truly say, if you cannot control it, then what is it that you're hanging on to?
Right.
It's not in your control. This is not in my control at all.
No, not at all.
It's not in my control how many days it's going to last. It's not in my control, what's going to happen tomorrow. But here's what's in my control. I don't have to sit here and blame anybody. I don't have to say armchair quarterback. Isn't it weird how in sports we armchair quarterback, right? Well,
Yeah.
if you stay focused on this news, you're going to armchair quarterback everybody that's
Yeah.
on that television.
Yep.
Oh, they should do this. They should do this. They should do this. Ooh, okay, I'm going to should myself to death. I'm not going to do that. I'm done doing that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Well, that's why
Whatever happens. It's above my pay grade.
That's what I was saying. Is I think that it's dangerous to immerse yourself too much in all the news and stuff, man, because you're going to start hearing opinions. You're going to start hearing different quote unquote facts, and you're going to start to form opinions on those, and then you can get yourself worked up in a frenzy, kind of judging the way everybody's responding to things.
Right. Right.
But I also think it's important. Like I can't stress this enough. Like I think we mentioned this on a previous show, and I was just as guilty of it early on in my marriage as well. But I think that people are guilty of doing this not just in a marriage situation and not just in a crisis, but just a period where we tend to forever things,
Right.
And what I mean is like I remember, and maybe anybody can relate to this if you're in a relationship or married. Have you ever been in a situation early on in your marriage and your spouse says or does something that you don't necessarily like, or they respond in a way that you don't like, and the thought, you've only been married for like less than a year now, and the thought comes in your head, well, I don't want to do this forever. Like I can't do this forever, right? Well, we have a bad habit of thinking our current situation is going to be forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
no, dude, your current situation is going to be about 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, calm down. It's okay. So if your spouse is causing some drama for you at the moment, or you guys are into something, and you're saying to yourself, well, I can't have a life like that. You're not going to. Stop being a drama queen. You know, your life ain't going to be that way. It's literally like a 3 minutes out of your day. You'll be fine. Adjust.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
coronavirus. We're not going to be still having this conversation 3 years from now. It ain't going to
Yeah.
happen, right? Like they're already released. They're already talking about releasing some of the quarantining that's currently happening at the moment. Whether they will or not, who knows? But the discussions are already taking place. So it's not going to be much longer before we're relatively business to back to business as
Right.
normal. So don't get caught up in that forever talk. Don't get caught up thinking that what am I going to do now? This is my no. Like this is a temporary blip on the screen. Use this as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to build some more connections with those around you, to take care of all those little things that we like we said last week, all those little things that you've been saying you wanted to do for the longest, but I don't have time to do. Now you have time.
Right.
But you got to stop thinking forever. Stop, forevering this. It's
Yeah.
it's literally going to go on. I say tops for probably another month, if that.
Right. Whatever.
Yeah, however long it is. And then after that, there won't be much longer before we're looking back on this saying, "Remember when?" You know?
Well, and the thing is, don't get mad at anybody for having a little hope.
Yeah.
If people put a timeline, let them put a timeline. Like you said, like if it's just going to be a month,
Right.
maybe.
Maybe.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good to have an end game in sight, right? It's good
Yeah.
to have a hope.
Yeah.
The fact that some people are trying to kill hope and act like it's going to be this big.
The
Look, man.
sky is falling.
Luckily we were already in a situation where there was an entire group of us that were already saying the sky's falling every 5 minutes.
Right.
This is the sky that fell. It
Yeah.
fell, and what's the worst that happened? Look around you. If this is the worst that's happened, that's not that bad.
Exactly.
We can handle this. A lot of people are going to pass away, unfortunately. We are going to lose a lot of people, and that really sucks. The mortality rate already sucks.
Yep.
There's so many families right now that have lost somebody, and that really sucks for them. But for the majority of you, that hasn't happened yet. So stay focused and blessed on what you have around you right now. And if you want to pick up the phone and call some people that maybe that may suffer from this, then call them now.
Yeah.
Because if those numbers are true, if those numbers that they're saying are true, and we have every reason to believe that they are, then we're going to lose a lot more people.
Yeah.
So, don't waste this time not picking up that phone and talking to people that you really should be talking to.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Gratitude really does the soul good. I think that we sometimes underestimate the power of gratitude. And it's not even necessarily the quote unquote being grateful. It's the mindset of positivity, the mindset of looking for things that you're happy with, things that are going your way. There's there's like an anecdote I saw one time. I'm not going to go verbatim here. I'm going to give you the gist of it. But apparently, a teacher went on to their chalkboard in the front of the class, and they wrote down the 9's timetables: 9 times 1, 9 times 2, whatever. And they got them all right, except for one of them. They put one of them, and he got it wrong, on purpose. And then the whole class was like looking at that and snickering and whatever. And he says, "Look, guys, I did this on purpose. You guys didn't pay attention to all the ones I got right. You just focused on the one that I got wrong." And so it's human nature to focus on things that don't line up to our expectations. It happens where we all kind of do that. But for those of us who are aware of it, we can overcome that. You don't have to do that. And so being grateful, like I do that with my little kids all the time, right? When I pick up my little ones from school, being the fact that they're in a charter school, I have to pick them up. There's no bus. So I pick them up every day from school. And I have the same questions I have for all my kids as soon as I pick them up. Matter of fact, you've heard me ask them these questions.
Yeah, you asked my daughter that question.
Yeah, I've asked your daughter. So I always ask them, "How was your day? And what did you learn today?" And I don't care what it is, they got to tell me something. And even if they say I didn't learn anything, it was like, no, you learned something. Even if it's you learn that your best friend likes spaghetti, I don't care. You learned something. But when I asked them how their day was, my little ones used to be guilty of this, and I made sure I kind of helped them understand the difference. But I'll ask them, "How was your day?" And they'll say my day was bad. I was like, "Really? Your whole day was bad? Like, why? What happened?" And then they'll give me an example of what took place, and it was literally like a 12 or 13 second interaction with a friend that didn't go the way they thought it would go, and then that constituted their entire day was bad.
Yeah.
And so I have to correct them. I was like, "Well, that doesn't sound like your whole day sounded. It just sounded like that moment wasn't a good moment." And it wasn't a good moment, not because it was inherently bad, but because it didn't line up to what you thought should have happened. So it's like, maybe it wasn't that bad of a moment. Maybe it just was uncomfortable. So maybe the whole rest of you. And so now when they tell me, now they'll say, "Oh, my day was good, but I had a couple bad moments." And so then I'll ask them, about the bad moments and help them understand. But I'm trying to get them to have that mindset of being grateful, man. Like, because we will do that, right? You have 24 hours
Right.
in the day, and you'll have like a 30-second interaction with somebody that just didn't go your way, and then my whole day is ruined. Really? Like, wow, your whole day is ruined for 30 seconds. That's not even a commercial break. Like, seriously? And so I think we got to be careful doing that as well.
Right.
Gratitude's a wonderful thing, man. It really is. When you start focusing on everything that you have or everything that is going right for you, you start to feel silly about all the things that you don't like, because you start to really put them into perspective and understand how little they really matter in the big scheme of things.
Well, that's what I do in my meditation time. My meditation time, I just focus on gratitude.
Right on.
Allowing myself to feel blessed
Sure.
for whatever it is, and I don't mean that in a religious way. I just mean that in a, the fact that I'm in a situation where I can complain about things, that's a blessing.
Right. Yeah.
Because the quality of my problems are so much better than the quality of so many other people's problems.
Yeah.
And that's my blessing. I think of the other countries and the other people in other countries and other situations which are a lot more ill prepared to handle this
Right.
than we are. Because worst case scenario, I mean, we may be like, oh, maybe we don't have masks, maybe we don't have, all the PPE stuff that they've been talking about. But in other countries, that's even worse off.
Yeah.
Some of them didn't have that to begin with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, there's people who are dying right now in hospital beds because they have coronavirus.
Right.
I mean, we're not. We have a mutual friend of ours that was posting story after story. They looked not well, lying in a
Right.
hospital bed, dealing with coronavirus. They got hit pretty hard with it, and we're not. And nobody that we know directly is either. So I mean, we're doing pretty good.
Well, we know people that have it, but
Yeah.
they've been getting help
Yeah.
for it. And like as much as on TV, they're like, we're going to run out of ventilators. We're going to run out. We know people that have been given those. I haven't known anyone personally that has been refused one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So again, don't let the hype. Remember, we're still in a country that allows freedom of speech. Meaning, there's always two sides in our country. This side is always going to argue with this side. That's just the way our system is built. And instead of fighting it, just sit back and let it happen. You don't have to engage in it. You don't have to be part of their weaponry. Just let them go at each other like they always are going to do, no matter what. Neither side is ever going to like what the other side is doing.
Nope.
That's just the way it is. But you need to take care of your household right now.
Absolutely.
Your household is what you got. That is what's in your control. Your peace, your mind. That's why I put that thing the other day where I said, nothing's going to change my world. That song by the Beatles.
Right.
That, what do you call it? Across the Universe.
Right.
I love it because nothing's going to change. I could just go la 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 la. Nothing's going to change my world.
Yep.
Nothing. This is my situation right here, and this is enough for me to handle. This is what I'm being asked to do. This is my lane. This is what I'm being asked to do right now. So I'm going to do it.
Right on. I agree. So do you have anything else you want to put out there? We only have a couple minutes left, so we have roughly 3.5 minutes, and our last one apparently went over. So I want to make sure we have
3.5 minutes. That's all we had. It looks like we have 7 minutes.
Well, you know what? Well, I was looking at my actual recording here. My bad. Well, real quick, Cindy, she was asking us to do hold up the cans for Celsius for a sponsor. I was telling Cindy we'll do that right after the show if you want, unless you want to do it now. All right,
I'll do it
there
right
we go,
now.
Cindy. She wants to do it. There we go. There you go, Cindy. Take that screenshot. Send us some Celsius.
There you go.
Right on. But no, those are all valid points, man. I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's,
you know what? That was my last one, by the way. I got a store run after that.
there you go. It's essential, baby. It's essential. Yeah, man. I think that speaking of essentials, I do think it is essential for us to wrap our heads around this in a skillful way, man. I really do. I really don't want to see. I think it was Trump actually that was saying it on one of the reports or whatever, and that was we don't want the what was it the solution to be worse than the problem kind of a thing.
Yeah,
And
that is so very true with anything.
well, it's like cutting your nose off to spite your face, right? Like it's that age-old cliche, there's some truth to that because when this thing first started, you and I both have things in the stock market. I probably don't have as much as you do, 1%er, but
Yeah, right.
there's people out there though who do make their livelihood on the stock market, and that thing plummeted, man. That's going to bankrupt a lot of people, and that's going to stick around a lot longer than the virus is going to.
Maybe.
And so I think that's something we gotta have to pay attention to, man. There's gonna be a lot
I
of
actually have
people.
faith that it won't.
For
I
some people, it
think
might, man.
I think it's going to bounce heavily. I agree with him on the fact that he says it's going to bounce heavily. And the reason I say that is because everything was going smooth
Yeah,
before. So because of that, I think the bounce back everybody's going to want to bounce it back. I'm
yeah,
talking every country
yeah.
is going to want to bounce back. So trade right now is a little bit restricted, but once all that opens up,
Yeah, I agree that the
new
market is going
new
to come back.
millionaires are going to be formed from
I
this.
think the market itself is going to bounce back, but I do believe there's going to be some people and some businesses that are going to be devastated from this, and they might not recover. And I think that's important. That's why we said earlier to support your local businesses
Yeah,
and kind of reach out because there are going to be some people who are going to be devastated by this, and we got to be
right,
careful when it comes to not just financially but in general. That's why we were saying don't make any major decisions right now because we don't want your response to be worse than the actual sickness itself. You know,
that's right.
because you very well could be somebody in your own house that nobody in your home or anybody was that you directly know was impacted by coronavirus,
Right.
but you could destroy your entire home life as you know it. And
Right.
wouldn't that kind of be silly, to look up afterwards and look back and instead of being grateful that nobody in your life got coronavirus, instead you're regretful because you've ruined relationships or you've
Yeah.
lost this or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
just take a moment, man. Take a moment,
Yeah.
take a breath, kind of relax. I know this is a scary time for a lot of people, and it's okay to be scared. There's nothing wrong with that. But try to keep that somewhat in check. All right, don't let your fears control you or your behavior. Your thoughts are just that. They're a fleeting moment. They rise and they go away. There's a book that I read that one time says, instead of treating your thoughts like an ER doctor, trying to save them and keep them around as long as you can, instead treat them like a hospice worker. Care for them, let them be there, but let them not die their natural death. Let them
That's
go
it.
away when it's time. And I think that's food for thought right now. We're going to have tons of different thoughts and ideas and emotions and stuff right now, and it's okay to have them, but don't personalize them. Don't hold on to them and try to make them last. It is what it is. It's going to pass. It's okay. We're all going to come through this at some point. Yeah, we might look different afterwards, but different isn't necessarily worse.
Yeah, we're all gonna have longer hair,
There you go.
and our nails aren't gonna be done, and
Right.
everybody's gonna need their eyebrows waxed.
Yeah. So right now you got about 2 minutes. You want to say anything? Well, we got 2 minutes total.
I do want to remind people that you may want to treat this like a vacation, but it's not a vacation. And here's what I mean by that. If you want to have fun like it's a vacation, like within your own home or around your home and still stay safe, that's great. But there's some of you that are choosing to truly look at this like a vacation because you're like, well, we don't have to go to work. We're getting some money in the mail. Uh, nobody's really demanding. I really don't have to pay my bills. I don't have to pay my light bill. I don't have to pay my mortgage. There's probably going to be some forgiveness on that. So I'm going to travel. And some of you have gotten in the car and gone out of state to visit other people. This is not the time for that. This is not the intent for all of that I just said. The intent is for you to stay close to your home as you can, right there in your house. Keep your family safe. Don't take this as an opportunity to travel out of state just to do it, just because you think that you're going to be taken care of by the government or anybody else. This is a real important time for you to just maybe focus on some really quiet things, calm things. But if you're getting that antsy where you have to leave out of state, I think then you really do have to watch some more Dharma Time videos and learn how to be a little bit more self-soothing. Because there are people doing that, Trinity. There's people in my personal life that I know that have done that, and I feel bad about it. So I'm kind of talking to them right now, to be honest with you.
Right on.
Kind of bothered they went out of state.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, man. I kind of just want to echo a little bit what he just said. I think right now is a difficult time for a lot of people, and just keep that in mind as you move forward. Normally, I would do my little 3 tips. I'm not sure if I have those necessarily today. Just keep doing what you're doing if it's working, and if it's not working for you, then reevaluate. Understand that you and everybody else are going through a difficult time, and that's okay. Work with each other here. Try to understand. Don't listen to argue or to listen to tell the person that they're wrong. Listen to understand where they're coming from, because everybody's got their own perspective at the moment. And there's some people who are more fearful than others, more people who are more nonchalant than others. And that's okay. We got to kind of work together to come to some sort of a mutual understanding and make this easier on everybody. And also don't make any rash decisions at the moment. Don't make permanent decisions on something that's temporary. and don't confuse your current situation as a barometer for the situation as a whole. Right now is a very difficult time for a lot of people. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of stress, and that's going to cause you to look at things, with a more intense microscope than you normally would. All that's going to happen right now is little problems are going to seem like really big problems. That doesn't mean it's a big problem. That just means it seems like one at the moment because it's being exacerbated by everything else around you. We're going to get through this. Try to maintain your inner peace. Spirituality is definitely key for that. Continue to watch these and shoot us a message if you think that there's a topic you'd like to hear more about. Keep tuning in. We'll be on live again for sure on Friday, 12 to 1 with the Couch Live. Make sure you tune into that one. And until next time, now that you know better, do better. Peace, everybody. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.